Hey there, it's BoardGameDave. Are you looking for a game that you could play with literally anybody? We're talking parents, siblings, significant others, kids, anybody. A game that is extremely easy to teach and yet has a surprising amount of depth and replayability. A game that highlights and recognizes iconic and important women throughout history in a hobby that's traditionally, let's face it, dominated by men and male representation. Well, look no further than a game called HerStory. This is a review copy that was sent to me from Underdog Games, and I'm so glad that it's in my collection. So in this game, you take on the role of a notable author who's writing a book about extraordinary women throughout history. And I have had such a wonderful time showing this game to and playing this game with all kinds of people, with Hannah and her sister and my mom. And my favorite gaming experience so far with this game has been showing it to a friend of mine who actually has two daughters that I teach in school. So him and his wife and his two daughters and me, we all played this game together and we had an extraordinary time. The girls were so excited to see these beautiful cards and to play with all the bonus content. There's bookmarks and postcards and stickers in here, and then to play the game with us. And throughout the course of the game, they were flipping all these cards over and reading the bios to us and telling us all about these people they were collecting. And I was amazed at how many of these women they already knew just from school or from learning about them at home. So that was such a cool experience. I think the grand vision of this game is to show young people all these extraordinary women who have done so much to help society and change the course of history. And if you don't have time for the rest of the video, let this be the takeaway that this is an amazing, educational, inspiring game that you can play with anybody, and they will love looking at these cards and learning about these women. I think that's the coolest part about this game. But now that you know kind of the thematic background of the game, let's go ahead and take a look at how this game plays. So take a look with me here at the playmat. So here on the playmat, you've got 6 research tokens, and then you've got 5 cards representing 5 women you can write chapters about in your book. And on your turn, you're going to do one of 3 things. You're going to, one, you can take a research token, add it to your supply, replenish it from the bag. Okay. 2, you could take one of these chapters and reserve it by putting it over in your draft area. And to do that, you're going to get 2 points. And the last thing you can do is you can pay your tokens to purchase or to write about one of these ladies. So you could pay, oh gosh, you could pay, let's see, something like this and this and this, for example. You could pay all of this, okay, for Loretta Perfectus Walsh. Now, you can, if you need to, overpay like I need to for this card, but if you pay exactly the right amount, you actually get 3 points extra as a exact bonus, which is always something I go for. So you take that card and you add it to your book, and that completes the next chapter. Now, a lot of these cards, when you do that, have points at the top that you'll also take into consideration, but also there's a lot of special abilities. There are some end game bonuses, like this one, at game's end, 8 points if your first chapter has no power, like that. Some of them are persistent bonuses, like when completing a chapter, draw a research token from the bag. I love that. 3 points when completing a chapter requiring at least 3 of those interview icons. So there's a lot of those, but then some of them also have this permanent discount. So if I have Fanny Wright in my book already, every future chapter that I try to write, I can pay 1 less inspiration. I think that is icon. So that is really, really cool. A great part of this game where as your book grows and you get more chapters, you've got more special abilities that are triggering based on what other people do or what you do, or again, end game bonuses. As soon as somebody writes their 8th chapter, that triggers the end of the game. You finish that round, do some end game scoring, and then whoever has the most points wins. And that's how you play HerStory. Now, there are a few other really tiny rules, like using your library card to wipe the research token supply, but beyond that, you know everything you need to get started. So who is this game for and who is it not for? Well, the box says ages 8 and up. I think that's probably fair, but honestly, if you have a kid that's a little younger that wants to play, I definitely think they could handle this game. They might need some help with reading some of those special abilities and things, but beyond that, you can play this with young children, and I definitely think this is a great game to show to the kids in your life, if you have kids of your own, or again, nieces or nephews, or if you're a teacher, right? You can show this to your students. It's a great game for a younger audience. If you play a lot with casual gamers or non-gamers, or if you go to, board game meetups a lot and you're looking for a game that's not intimidating, that's really attracting, people are going to walk by and their eyes are going to be caught by this mesmerizing cover, and they're going to say, hey, what is that game? And you can very easily teach this game to Again, anybody, people who have played just a few board games, people who have never played a board game before. It's so easy to teach. You take tokens, you reserve cards, you purchase cards, you write your book. Super, super fun. And if you also are looking for a game that's educational, inspiring, that's going to teach you about history and teach you about, people like Mary McLeod Bethune, who I don't know, she's an educator and philanthropist, or Elizabeth Freeman, or Josephine Baker, or all these incredible women that are in this game. If you like learning and being taught something throughout the course of a game, I think that's definitely worth doing. One thing I didn't mention is at the end of the game, you're gonna take your player aid over, so you'll take all your chapters, like so. You're gonna take your player aid, flip everything over, and then you've got your own book of HerStory, and you're going to read through on your own these cards that you acquired, and at the end of the game, everybody reads one of these out loud. And that's such a cool part of the game because you're picking something that really resonates with you. So engineers or philosophers or scientists or astronauts, and you get to read and tell everybody about that woman. I think it's so cool. So that's some ideas of who this game might be for. Now, who might this game not be for? If you are, or in your great gaming group, you typically play super heavy Euros or like really complex Ameritrash games, HerStory might not be for your gaming group. Of course, there is some depth and there's some really cool abilities that combo off each other, but at the end of the day, it's still a very light game, so that might not work with your group. If you're a solo gamer, unfortunately, you're out of luck right now. There still is no solo mode for HerStory that I know of. Now, with Trekking Through History, another Underdog game, they did come out with an official print and play solo version. So maybe they're working on that right now. I don't know, but that might be something that kind of hinders you from getting this game if you're a big solo gamer. And I suppose if you also don't like learning about women in history, or you don't like the idea of writing a book about extraordinary women, I guess this game might not be for you either. So, but otherwise, if you do play with casual gamers or kids or younger players or older gamers, your parents, right, who maybe aren't into big games or don't want to learn heavy complex games, they might really be into HerStory. And I should mention that to celebrate March being Women's History Month, Underdog Games is currently running a crazy promotion where they're selling HerStory on Amazon for just $19.19 to commemorate 1919 being, of course, the year that women were given the right to vote in the United States. So that's over 60% off the MSRP. You should definitely think about grabbing this game if it seems up your alley for less than $20. So there's a link down in the description. You have to use that link because there's a discount thing in there. It is not an affiliate link. I am not sponsored by Underdog Games or anything like that, but it is a link that'll give you 20% off whatever it's listed for on Amazon right now. So $19.19 for this incredible game with incredible components. You got the playmat, you got over 100 of these cards, I believe, these tokens, this amazing bag. It's just such a gorgeous production. So that's HerStory in a nutshell. Guys, I am filming this before school and I really do need to get going, which is why this probably seems so rushed. I wish I could go on and on and on. There's so much I could say about this amazing game, but I should probably get going. So I'll give you a little homework for you in the comments down below. Please let me know your favorite iconic extraordinary woman in history. And in the meantime, have a wonderful week. Take care and happy gaming. Bye. Okay. Time to go. Let's get going. Woof.